Hello everyone, my name is Abdalaziz and today I will talk about the outbreak of cholera in Haiti back in 2010. Haiti is a country that is located in the Caribbean Sea and has a population of 10.98 million. On the 20th of October 2010, the Haiti Ministry of Public Health and Population confirmed cholera outbreak in the country. Cholera is an acute infectious diarrheal disease that is caused by bacterium Vibrio cholera subgroup O1 or O139. More than 600,000 cases and at least 8,000 deaths were reported as a result of the outbreak, making it one of the worst in recent history, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. I selected this case study after reviewing environmental health hazards that particularly affected poor countries in the Western Hemisphere, and also its relevance to my topic, which is biological pollutant in drinking water. There are three reasons made me choose the cholera outbreak in Haiti. First, the cholera outbreak occurred just 10 months after an earthquake that killed more than 200,000 and displaced more than a million. Disaster also significantly destroyed the public infrastructure. Second, it occurred in a poor country with a vulnerable and fragmented healthcare system. Third, 90% of Haitians are prone to natural disaster, the most recent being Hurricane Matthew. For assessing cholera outbreak in Haiti, I will use health impact assessment. I will use the three constructs of the health impact assessment, which are scoping, appraisal, and reporting. The first step is scoping. The aims of this health impact assessment are to identify the main risk factors and impacts of cholera. Second, propose effective preventive measures in forestalling future outbreak and transmissions. Community concerns. Haiti have generally supported projects to help end of cholera epidemic. In 2017, cholera has infected 27,000 people annually, and this HIA project is in line with the Haiti National Plan to eliminate cholera by 2022. After conducting research, I found that the health determinants that were most relevant in affecting health outcomes of the population for cholera are physical environment and individual response. The health impact assessment will therefore be exclusively limited to how the risk factors in the physical environment and individual response contribute to the disease, how cholera impacts health by looking at the global burden of the disease, the availability of vaccine as well as water, hygiene and sanitation. The temporal scope is the next 2 years to align with the national plan for the elimination of cholera by 2022. The geographical and population scope of the health impact assessment is the whole country with its 10 departments and 10.98 million population. The map above shows the 10 departments of Haiti. The most affected with more are Ertibonite, Ouest, and Center, followed by North, then Northwest, Northeast, Grand Innes, Nibis, Sud, and Southeast. Because this project touches on the health impacts of cholera in Haitian people, it was theoretically sensible to involve Haitian health practitioners and other relevant planners and decision makers in the development and assessment of the health impact assessment. In conducting the health impact assessment, only I was involved in searching, reviewing, and compiling information and evidence related to risks, impacts, and the preventive measures. However, important stakeholders in the consultation purpose would have ideally included officials at Haiti Ministry of Public Health and Population and employees of cholera response volunteer agencies such as Help Aid and Haitian Cholera Research Foundation. The following stakeholders would be helpful in assessing the policy: the department health planners from each of the 10 administrative regions, legislative decision makers for each department, and the volunteer health agencies and non-governmental health organizations. The second step is appraisal. Following a comprehensive literature review of the risk factors for cholera in Haiti, it emerged that physical environment and individual response are major risk factors. The major risk factors in the physical environment are open container water storage and contaminated water source, poor waste disposal and latrine as main household toilet, and common source of water for drinking and household use or adequate source of water. Living in rural and remote areas increase not just the chance of infection but also death. Individual response or behaviors linked to cholera are poor hygiene, eating raw food, and consuming street-vended food. An appraisal of evidence for global and health outcomes of cholera shows that Haiti has a great burden of cholera cases and mortalities. The country has a 1.2% fatality rate, roughly at least 2,500 deaths each year. Rural areas of Haiti are worst hit by cases and mortality. On average, rural areas experience 16.2% higher cases and 15.2% higher mortality cases. Cholera is cited as an important etiology in the hundreds of thousands of earthquakes-related deaths. Cholera is associated with 2 to 6-fold increase in the fetal death in maternal infection. The chart shows ambulatory cases, hospitalized cases, 14-day rolling case fatality rate at the height of the Haiti cholera epidemic between October 2010 and October 2012. An appraisal of evidence for global and health outcomes for cholera shows that the country would struggle with mass infection. The cost of illness per cholera infection is $100, but could rise to more than $1,000 if lost productivity is considered. More than 6 million Haitians live on less than $3 a day, meaning that the most cannot afford healthcare costs. More than 8.2 million Haitians are at risk of cholera. The high population at risk and the cost per cholera interacted to create significant strain on healthcare. An appraisal of extent research demonstrates that oral cholera vaccine and wash interventions are helpful prevention strategies. Oral cholera vaccine is a cost-effective method of ensuring herd immunity. A single dose of vaccine ranges between $6 and $10 per dose. Oral cholera vaccine can provide short to medium protection between 2 months and 1 year. Some empirical studies show efficacy for oral vaccine between 79 and 97%. Provision of clean water at point of use, proper waste disposal, and food hygiene are important preventive measures. However, cost of building water and sanitation and hygiene infrastructure too high in the short and medium term for. The final step that I used in assessing cholera is reporting. From the appraisal, evidence points to the major risk factors for contracting cholera being poor sanitation and lack of access to uncontaminated water. The disease exerts a high burden among rural population, with overall mortality being 1.2% but 15.2% higher in the rural areas, as nearly $100 is the cost of the treatment per cholera case is more than 3 times what half of the population of Haiti lives on in a day. Overall, the most viable preventive measures are vaccine. Setting up water, sanitation, and hygiene infrastructure in Haiti is relatively expensive due to the country's poverty. As the country recovers, it recommended that investments by Ministry of Public Health and Population should be challenged to make an oral cholera vaccine available every 6 months, particularly to rural residents who are most affected. In conclusion, Haiti faces the challenge of addressing high population risk to cholera. Roughly 8 million are exposed. The country's high poverty index, coupled with its prone to natural disasters, mean that Haitians will face sanitation and clean drinking water problems. This problem translates to high incidence of cholera. The administration of oral cholera vaccines can offer protection to millions at cheaper price compared to wash intervention. Thank you for listening.